live.
Once it's rolling.
We're live.
Live.
Right. No,
Let David do it.
There we go.
3, 2. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I am your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, David Hall.
Hey. Live and in person.
All right, John Curley.
Hey, welcome to Sim Gaming Expo.
Greg Hectus.
What's going on, guys?
All right, and Brad Wren.
The expo finally happened.
And it's great, Justin Pearson.
What's up, my friends? I'm back.
Hang on.
On today's show.
Hang on. Start over.
You didn't hit record.
No. Live TV,
I didn't
guys.
screw it up!
Live TV. All right, ready?
3, 2. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I am your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, David Hall.
I did hit record this time.
All right, John Curley.
Hey, let's go, Sim Gaming Expo.
That's right, Greg Hectus.
You'd think after 500 episodes we'd get it right.
That's right, Brad Wren.
Hey, the expo finally happened.
And Justin Pearson.
What's up, my friends? I'm back.
On today's show, we are live for our 500th episode from the Sim Gaming Expo in Chicago.
The Red Bull.
Join us as we look at the
Red Bull.
history of the show, updates from the
Red
show, and much more.
And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all of the great topics.
Oh, I didn't write it down, guys.
By visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We'll hope to see you there.
All right, well, the first topic we're going to talk about is us, kind of, sort of. It's episode 500, and Mike's going to tell us a little bit about how we got here.
Well, Brad told me we should come up with a story about the history, and it made me think of when we started the podcast. I decided, well, what's the naming convention? And I'm kind of OCD, so I wanted to have the episode number in the title of every episode. So we do that on purpose. And we decided to start it with 4 digits as the episode number. Why? Well, if you ever try to sort it in a file folder or something, it's not going to sort right. So we led episode number 1 with 3 leading zeros, 0001. And so now here we are on 0500. And so I guess the question we had last night was, how old will we be when we get to episode 1000? I'll be 72 maybe.
It's 2035, middle of 2035.
I'll be 62.
So basically 10 years from now, right?
Yeah.
So
Up 75.
60, yeah.
I'll be 75, guys.
And you'll be
Great.
here.
I'll be
And you'll
here.
still be rocking it.
I will be
Well,
here.
actually, that show, we're already planning on just going ahead and having at the nursing home.
That's it.
Hey, I'll be 45. Yeah.
He'll be paying for all of our nursing home fees.
Well, look, this is a group project. I never knew it was going to last this long. But I want to shout out everyone who's participated in the podcast from the very beginning over all 500 episodes. It takes a village. We got Mike Ellis, Alan Pajari, Jose Pabon, Carlos Fonseca, Brad Miller, rest in peace, Chris Scales, Tony Groves, Tony Rochette, Will Gibson, Jonas Hankins, Jeff Walton, Kyle Fleischman, Colton Landis, Phil Linden, Greg Hectus, Bobby Jonas, Steve Thompson, David Hall, Stephen Llewellyn, Joe Owens, Mason Stiver, Josh Sleater, Bill Hull, Jesse Gray, Shane Chastain, Adam Thompson, Adam Jocelyn, Brad Wren, Justin Pearson, John Curley, William Westbrook. Thank you to everyone who participated in this project.
All right. So, we do have a lot to cover. Why don't we just, before we jump into the topics, what has been your neatest experience at the expo so far? Brad?
I think just really, we've talked about it before, being able to actually see you guys in person. You know, we look at each other every single week on the screen. But looking at each other on the screen is one thing. But to be able to get together, you know, we've talked, we've laughed, we've eaten dinner, we've had breakfast. I mean, it's been great getting to know everybody on a personal level. And this is something, either we do the expo every year or we do something, but we have got to get together at least once a year as a group.
Yeah, super fun. Meeting everybody and meeting listeners and other people involved in the community. Justin, you were telling me you didn't think that we would have such a presence at the booth, and you've been popular.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I underestimated that. Like, I'm a guy, I'll be the first one that I don't show up all the time. And I actually had somebody that actually recognized me and knew who I was. I was just flabbergasted. And thanks to them, it means a lot.
She did better than I did because when he came up, I didn't recognize him at first. Because when you're on the show, you're like in a bat cave. You can't see it. So, yeah, it's been really cool getting to see everybody, and just the whole experience. And all the equipment is really cool too, and all the people who are interested in either just as listeners or as members of the community and businesses who want to come on the show to help promote their products. It's been exciting. And it's interesting because a couple of them were a little bit surprised of how we are a hobby podcast. We don't do this. We don't have to chase the logarithm or the algorithm. So we're able to really just kind of do what we want to do as far as the content. And that's great. That's kind of what I enjoy out of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Meeting all you guys for the first time was fantastic. We do have to do this more often. It's been a lot of fun at the expo to actually put our hands on the equipment that we talk about week in, week out. You know, if you can't put your hands on it, use it. It's hard to talk about it. You know, you have to rely on what the reviewers say about it. But now, you know, I know what a Simicube feels like. I know what a motion rig feels like. So the active pedals. So that's been a lot of fun. And of course, meeting the people that listen to us.
So, John, the amount of knowledge that we have absorbed in the last couple of days is extreme. Like I can't even fathom it. But it's going to pay off on the future shows. We'll be able to talk about this stuff a lot more intelligently than we have in the past.
Absolutely. And you know, with these manufacturers that put on seminars, talk about their products, about their companies. So a lot of insight on what goes on in the industry.
It's actually been really nice to come down here and to see everybody that I've only seen in a little box on the Discord or whatever, but I've learned a lot from this show. It's been I've never really gone to any conventions that's like this, but it's made me kind of decide, you know, things that I want, things that I don't want. So a lot of the information, like Mike said, there's so much information. I'm forgetting people that I've met like 10 minutes after I met them because like there's another person to meet, another thing to try. So it's been a little bit overwhelming, and then obviously to get the show out for today is going to be fun.
All right, cool. Before we jump into the topics, I'll just go ahead and mention this on the show. Everybody will get to hear it. I might cut it out of the audio, but be careful with setting your phones on the table.
Oh.
I'm actually hearing that. So yeah, the mics that we have, since this is our first road show, it's an area mic, and it's designed to record concert bands. So it's designed to pick up every movement. All right, first topic: F1 podium strength of field. The average iRating at Zandvoort podium was 6.836, and I guess this is the top split that it's talking about.
No, he's talking about F1.
This is the real driver.
F1.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual F1 podium. This is kind of a thing iRacing has done the last couple of weeks. I think they showed off who the NASCAR podium average iRating was, and now it's the Formula One podium from Zandvoort. But boy, that's a pretty high, 68.36. Oscar, Max, and Isaac. I know Max is high. I'm not sure I know where Oscar and Isaac are at though.
Well, they're running the final event right now from that Sim Expo Challenge, and I know there was a 10K and a 9K, at least in that split. So they may actually have more iRating than these guys.
Probably.
So is this the iRating from iRacing, or they take the
Yes.
real
Yeah.
racing and
from
interpret?
They're all iRacers.
All right.
So,
I think it's fair to say
I don't know
almost
why.
every real driver is an iRacer.
just about. All right. The next question comes into our area of expertise, I guess, sort of. I don't want to say we're experts, but we talk a lot about NIS, and we have a forum post asking how many hours of pacing there will be at Phoenix, and that's asking if Phoenix is a full-length race this year.
Oh wait, we already have 4 full-length races: Daytona, Indy. We got Bristol this next week.
That's Bristol, right? Yeah, Bristol's coming on.
Yeah, we have Bristol.
Coke 600 was full distance.
Right, that's
So that's the 4.
That's the
It was
four.
Bristol instead of Arizona this year.
Yes,
right?
yeah, there was Bristol. Yeah, they took the. Usually, it's always the finale.
We can check the replies, but he says the UI says 312.
Yep. So I guess the last race in Phoenix will be a full distance race, even though it's not scheduled as one of the special events. So,
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, 312 is a normal race in Phoenix.
not 312 laps.
Well, 312 kilometers.
It's kilometers because it's 312 laps, isn't it?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a full distance race.
So we got 5 full distance races, I guess, for NIS. All right.
Do you think they just added that without, maybe it was an oversight and they just added it
I
in?
think it's an oversight, to be honest.
We'll find out in a week or two, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there not a reply on the thread? I can't get
Just
the
that it's
forms.
listed as, it's not listed as a special event.
Okay.
There's only one reply. Dab is Laddick, so.
All right. Indy NXT is next week, and Chip Ganassi has a post about that. Tell us a little about that one, John.
Yeah, so next week, the number 9 and number 10 Indy Next cars are available to drive in Season 4 that's coming up here. So that will be, I don't know where these
We
cars...
got week 13.
Yeah, week 13.
So you're going to buy them during week 13.
Yeah, so you
Run
can
them
pick...
the next week.
Right, buy them in week 13.
So they're using the that's obviously the Chip Ganassi.
Well, I think what they're referring to.
But their next paint, though, they're painted like the ones, are they not? I think that's the Ganassi
I think they're saying the
next
paints
cars.
are available.
Yeah,
And you got to wonder, are those the 2 cars they got scanned for the
probably.
model? Probably.
I was wondering if it meant there was a slot, like, to drive that
No.
car.
But look, I'm going to be buying this car. I think I'm
Yeah.
going to participate in the open wheel ladder on the American Stars.
All right, so this is more build week stuff, right? Because we've covered a lot of this, but we've got a picture from iRacing Official of the Aston Martin Vantage EVO GT3. This one's going to be a popular one. A lot of people
Yeah, I
are
think it's
excited.
been real popular. It's been a long-awaited car. This car's been out for many years. A lot of questions, really, why have we not had this? We've had the GT4 for multiple years, so glad to finally see us get the Aston GT3. For me, I hope that means that perhaps we get the Valkyrie soon too. That's the GTP Aston Martin. It's the V12 that sounds absolutely fantastic.
And is it a deal where they have to wait for another GT3 to retire so they have room for the Aston Martin?
I don't think that's why they waited.
No, because they retired the Audi. So the Audi's coming out. We're staying with 16 cars is what we're staying in the IMSA grid. So they pulled the Audi out. We talked last week. The Audi will still be available in the GT3 series, but will not be available to be driven in IMSA.
But Real Audi pulled all their support from American racing.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
there's no more factory racing. There's no more customer racing. So we mentioned last week, we got Audis that are racing around the world, but there's no more customer support for Audi.
yeah. So do you think this one's going to be? Well, obviously it's going to be the top car again because they usually the first couple days or couple builds of it, it's going to be the fastest car. You think
I'm
probably?
sure it will be very BOP friendly. They usually are.
It's gonna be nice because the old Aston Martin was like, it's been a long time. It was scanned probably when the first Audi was done too.
The DB9.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite cars.
I think we have our first iRacing conspiracy theory.
First.
There's a lot of theories out there.
That it's always a little overpowered
Always.
because it might just sell a little better that way.
Guess we'll find out.
Interesting. All right. Will there be iRacing Delivery? What is this about?
Or you read it wrong.
Oh,
When will iRacing?
when will iRacing Delivery?
There you go.
They talked about it though, didn't they? They've
Well,
talked
we're talking
about.
about a new supercar from Repco, Australia. They revealed a new Toyota supercar.
Why did their cars look the better of all. Like all three of their supercars look way better than the Cup cars ever will.
Well, because
They still follow more manufacturer
So-
body types.
So wait, we just got supercars within the last
The two.
year.
But they're just entering this one in.
Oh, the Holden and the Ford. Right?
Yes.
And now this is the
Chevrolet. There's
Toyota.
no more Holden.
and-
We have the Chevrolet.
Oh.
And we have the Ford.
And then the
Wait,
Toyotas
Holden and
and
Chevy are the same.
and then Toyotas,
Holden is no more. Holden is
Doesn't-
is gone.
Okay.
There's no more Holden.
because the supercar series starts soon, I guess, in over there, doesn't it? Because they're winters, they're more winter.
Yeah,
They started late November.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, is that starting this season or is it the next season? Did it say?
Can't tell you. Can't tell you.
We'll find out. I'm sure they'll get it as quick as
Coming
they can.
after the next Bathurst when everybody wants it.
All right. So we already know the answer to this one, but the question probably has come up by a fairly newer member. Why is there no 24-hour of Le Mans?
We have no license for it.
Le Mans Ultimate owns the license for 24-hour Le Mans, and they do not want iRacing running a 24-hour Le Mans. Interestingly, though, I've met one of the guys that we race with sometimes in GPT or GTP and NIS, and they're bringing. We talked about how season 3 did not go from 6 hours to 24 hours in the Global Endurance Championship, but they're showing. He's got a preview of the schedule, and it's going to 24 hours next season. So it's going to be 24 hours next season.
Nice. And by the way, I got to try Le Mans Ultimate for the first time yesterday. I mean, John, I think the takeaway was that crawling through this, grid walk or grid crawl is super slow, and then it takes off. It's okay, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose if you really want to drive that particular track, that car, it's okay. I don't think it's iRacing level. You do have to go through this parade lap, and I don't know. I don't know if iRacing will ever get that. It's a licensing issue.
Me and Greg drove it as well, and I also talked to some streamers who are coming over from LMU into iRacing, and we all agree that it's almost too forgiving, especially compared to iRacing. It felt arcade-ish. Greg had a better time than me at Sebring until I finally figured out what the limit was.
Just wait, I haven't finished with him yet.
I was driving it way too conservative, and once I found out how hard I could just run the tires and it not punish me for it, it went really well. All right. So before we move on to the next topic, we have a special guest. Jorge, how you doing?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we want to ask about the show. I mean, you're in the middle of it. You're just past the halfway point, I would say. I mean, has it lived up to expectations? How successful has it been?
You know what? I think we've done a pretty good job because it seems like the feedback that we've received has been pretty positive so far. Looks like everyone's having a good time. The competitions have been going off without a hitch. Yeah, it's been good. I'm just really surprised and happy that it's having a good time. It's kind of surreal, to be honest. I'm just trying to take it all in. So.
We see the show as a success, and it's definitely been a success for us. We're getting a lot out of this experience, both in knowledge and just people connections. We were talking with one of the YouTubers, Sarah Nochi, about it, and just how much her real life job has been online for a while, but they're wanting her to go back to real life, and we just all kind of talked about how that's everything's just better in person, really.
So I've seen you like running around, and you stop at a table, and you're in your laptop, and you're frowning, and you're doing different things. And I told David, everything's going so smooth. I don't see any fires here that he put out. I mean, everything is smooth as silk. And David said, well, that's because George is putting out the fires. So tell us, what kind of fires are you putting out that people like us can't see?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of internet connectivity issues and some speed issues. We had maybe one or two issues with hardware failure, which we were able to sort out. We had a monitor in the competition area when we were fitting them. Had an issue where we broke it, but we had a spare. And that was the thing again, like the brands, they projected that these things might happen, so we had enough spares. And really, it's the team behind it, because those guys, like for example, work in the competition area, the volunteers that helped assemble the chassis, helped set up. Like a lot of these people are iRacing members that I've never met them before in real life, but we came together with this common goal and just collectively came up with solutions on the fly and great suggestions. We just really worked together well, and I just feel like it's just something that's just meant to happen. And of course, there were challenges and hurdles, but collectively we're able to overcome it.
Well, look, David and I got to unofficially join your team on Thursday. We approached you and, hey, how can we help? You found us something to do, and we did it. And we were happy to help and jump in and make stuff happen. But boy, it has been a real success. I can tell you that. The people, the crowds. I mean, are we at the right numbers? I think you said 3K at one point.
Yeah, I think we're somewhere a little over 1,500. So I think the issue, and not really the issue, but this being the first one, we had nothing really to show. I mean, we kind of could explain the vision, but until you could actually see it, it's just hard to visualize. And now I think we have that behind us. We have so much content. We can make an awesome commercial. We can show the images and really show everyone else who wasn't able to be here what this was all about. And I think that's going to be the catalyst that drives this thing moving forward.
Yeah, even in our team, our guys saying, hey, we want to be there next time. That aren't here today. So
I think that was, for me, like someone asked, like, and again, your question about what would be a sign of success, and I think that is probably the biggest one, that people are saying that they want to be here again.
Right.
Because everything that went into this thing, there's no way that it could be a one-off. It's impossible.
We got to do a 10-year run.
Yes,
right?
That would be fantastic.
Right, let's do it.
Say, I was going to ask, now you were able to bring in a lot of the major manufacturers here. You've got some big names. Was that hard to pull off?
It was, especially being a first-year show, especially with other shows with already a significant fan following or fan base. I mean, so there was skepticism, there was hesitancy, and we worked hard to get those first few in the beginning, and then that started to build up trust. And then also you have, competitors that they, like, this brand is there, well then we have to be there. And we found that happened a lot, and then it was kind of slow going. Our first focus was getting the entire competition area, because we kind of took that as the focal point and then branched out from there, especially with myself having run leagues for 10 years. It was something I was super passionate about. Like, having competition was something, it was pivotal, it was important. I wanted to have this there from the beginning. That's how this whole thing started. So by having like a main sim racing championship and then bringing exhibitors in, it snowballed to what it was, but we focused there first. And those, for example, UCville, SimLab, GSI,
Good stuff.
SimLab, they are major players. So in getting them on board and focusing on them first, that really is what began to open those doors, and then we started to see that growth.
Well, I hope the iRacers Land podcast has been part of that snowball effect, because we were one of the first booths.
Yes.
And look, and then we talk about it ad nauseum every week. Sim Gaming Expo, and this, hopefully we drove some of those.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, honestly, just your support and helping get the word out there is huge. I mean, it just pushes that algorithm, and lets more people know and understand what we're doing. Just more community members helping make this thing special, and that's what our goal was, is to make this a community-driven event. And obviously, with support from the iRacers Lounge podcast, everyone putting in, we were able to make this happen together as a community. So.
Right. Well, look, you're the man, because you put up your money on something that is not a sure thing, and I commend you.
Yeah.
You are the man.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah. What's the future plan? What's down the road?
Yeah. Well, the future plan is definitely we want to continue running the show. We have tentative dates for next year. We'll release them when we can. But the idea is that we would remain here in Chicago for the, we'll say, foreseeable future.
It's a great facility.
Yeah, we really love it here. There's so much to see and do. Schaumburg is a great facility. It's so close to O'Hare. There's so many direct flights, and as you see, we have so many international exhibitors, and we want to make things easy for exhibitors and for attendees. O'Hare's an international shipping hub. Just logistics, like all these things are. There's advantages to being here in the Midwest. So, our goal is first to continue to scale the show until we absolutely sell this place out, until they can't fit us anymore, and then we'll evaluate from there. But
We'll go to Navy Pier.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm born and raised in Chicago, so obviously I have bias. Being here, close to this facility, again, just made a lot of sense. And then I have a great partner with Source One Events. So what they are is their general service contract for the trade show industry. They also came on as a contributor, supporter, and together the owner, Mike, he and I, we produced the show together. So we definitely had a little bit of help in terms of investing and support. So again, team effort between myself and my partner and the rest of the community. So
Pretty
just
awesome.
want to keep driving that forward.
I know you're super busy. You're in the middle of your expo, so I appreciate you giving us a few
Thank
minutes.
you so much.
Did you get a chance to enjoy it at least though too?
Small moments. I'm really excited to see all the content that comes out. Last night was still like we left. I had sessions to build, and then the inbox was kind of filled up. There were questions about ticketing and some things from exhibitors. So it's been some kind of late nights, but I did a peek on YouTube and just put in Civ Gaming Expo, and it seemed like there was a tremendous amount of content.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of creators here that are going to help drive some of that stuff too.
I'm looking forward to seeing all that when I get a little bit of downtime. But I'm sneaking little moments in. But really, it's all about the attendees and their experience. So I just want to make sure that is good, and then that's the satisfaction that I receive, is just seeing everybody having great times.
Yeah, we'll be back.
And I have to ask, is this the 500th right now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. I love it.
That's great time.
I'm so glad that it's here too.
Right.
Thank you for putting your trust in us to put on a good show and provide something worthy of your 500th episode, because that's special.
Oh, yeah.
And
Couldn't be
I'm
better.
glad that it's here.
It couldn't be better.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you.
we're going to advocate for you for next year's show
yeah.
all the time.
We'd love to have you back. Let's keep working.
That's
See
right.
what we can build for next year.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you. So George is now gone, which gives us a great transition for going, gone. Because some other things are going to be gone from iRacing when the patch comes out, right?
Yeah, we talked about this. Really, this started the conversation almost back in the spring. They started to announce as they were going through the refresh that there are going to be tracks that are going to go away. So we have found out in season 4 release, so in Charlotte Motor Speedway, all the existing track and figs will no longer be available. So on the Raceway, that's a rescan.
The old one, Charlotte.
Yes. So Charlotte's the one
Just so we specify that people understand. Sorry.
So the one with the yellow walls and
Yes.
all that stuff is going away. Sonoma's a full rescan, so the existing one will be gone. Worldwide Technology, that's Gateway again, that's a rescan. And the Legacy Charlotte 2008, that's the one with the yellow walls, will go away as well. Look, I mean, rescans, we understand it. It's a different track. So the biggest thing is look, you've got replays and you've got stuff that's saved, it won't work. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
if
good.
you
That's
wanna
good.
if you need to grab videos or you need to do screenshots and all that stuff, you need to do it before the build, which is next Tuesday. So don't waste time.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think I have the same concern as Christian Bud in the forums. You know, what's next? And when you look at some of these that he mentions, you know, I'm concerned about losing them as well. Like the Yellow Wall Charlotte. I mean, we run that a lot hosted and stuff. You know, we run it because it's bumpy.
Is that the grass one?
Yeah, it has grass.
So that's the old configuration that has
Before the roll
before
board.
they put the You're talking about Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Sorry.
Right. And then, so the one that he's worried about, the old Daytona, the bumpy Daytona, you know, we run that hosted all the time.
I don't like Phoenix going, if that's one of them.
Well, Legacy Phoenix. She said the track is wildly different from New Phoenix.
Because 1 and 2 is 3 and 4, and 3 and 4
Right.
is 1
Is
and
it
2.
really the same? I
No.
mean,
It's not. But again, guys, we've had the discussion is every time they do something with the graphics engine, the shaders, and all that stuff, they have to go back and redo. All that stuff has to be put into tracks that aren't current anymore. So I mean, from an hour standpoint, manpower,
I get it.
That's why at some point you just have to let it go.
I feel like that, but like certain tracks, like that Daytona and Phoenix, it's kind of feels like North Wilkesboro to me. Like it's Phoenix. The old Phoenix is an interesting track with having the dirt in the back of having the grass in the backstretch and having 3 and 4 and 1, 2, and then the front stretch having the actual start-finish line.
Right.
That's a different type of track. I can see if it's a layered track that looks the same over top, and then Daytona, the bumpiness is what, how many years did we, most of the sim was then that. So I get that it takes a lot of manpower, but there's some things that I don't know if I want to
Well, in that case, Greg, what we're asking at iRacing is we want them to rebuild the Legacy Phoenix with the grass and the turns that are flip-flop.
but we're also asking them probably to never make any revenue from it and put a lot of manpower. I get what
But
Brad's
look, they're
saying.
iRacers like us. They want to run it just like us. So
The only reason
I think a good middle ground is to have a few select tracks, and that's what we've
the
come
ones
up
that
with
are
the last time.
uniquely different, like Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right.
Phoenix, Daytona, and Atlanta, I think are the big three that I look at on this list that I want to see. Don't really care so much about Kentucky or Pocono. All right, let's talk Coke Series. All right, we have 2 former champions locked into the championship 4 now. Who locked us in this time?
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. I watched this race last Tuesday. Zach Novak clinched the spot in the playoff since his last win was 2019.
What?
Yeah.
Is that the one he won the championship
He
with?
won the championship with, and I've got to learn about it because this is a year before I got into sim racing. But I always forget how much it means for these guys to win one of these races because they show a little bit of emotion. It was a big deal for them.
Yeah. The video was something where they did the interview with Zach, and he got kind of choked up when he realized, man, I haven't won since 2019, or whatever. And look, it's emotional. You put a lot of time and energy into this, and you don't always win. And when you break through like that after however many years, yeah, it's emotional. Man, it's real. It's real racing, folks.
was that the year that him and they were Leahy didn't. He could have turned. He could have pulled him out. He could have moved him, and he didn't. And it was a respectful finish.
Right.
It was one of the better finishes that we've seen at the way that they've done.
Respectful finish you saw.
All right, so that puts 2 guys in the finals, with Parker White and Casey Kerwin being above the points bubble. One of those will get bumped out unless they win or we have a repeat winner. Tucker Minner is 11 out, and Bobby Zawinski is 13 out of the bubble to make the final.
Have they always tracked the team standings? Have we always had that on there?
I think this is the first year. I don't recall it from last year. So Spire Motorsports is still.
Is there
at the
money
top
for
of
that,
the
maybe?
finals. Probably. Okay. Well, we've got to see this guy in person. He's dropping the hammer. And I think
Tony Kanaan, he's doing his best Cold Trickle impersonation here as he's racing trucks on the Daytona Oval. And sure enough, they all pile up in front of him. He's got a wall of smoke. He doesn't lift. He pushes through and he drives through that smoke. He even splices in a little Cold Trickle video to kind of sweeten the video a little bit.
That's pretty
Oh,
sick.
you can make it.
That's really sick. That they did. And then at the last minute, he had one come up right in front of him. Like I thought he was like, oh, he's not gonna. Oh, he's made it.
Yeah, that's very cool. He was in here earlier doing a time trial. one of the events is a time trial in the IndyCar at Interlagos. So
And he
the wait for it was
announced,
3 hours.
One of the events, he was an announcer on the IndyCar race.
And he was doing a meet and greet right before we recorded. I didn't want to stand in line, so I just got permission to drop our stickers on the desk and hand them to him. And he took them and then kept signing. So I was hoping not to take too much of the time. But
Well, I actually ran into Tony Kanaan today and held up my camera and had him try to speak to the camera and say, congratulations on the 500th episode and a shout out to all the listeners. And then as he walked away from me, I realized I hadn't hit the record button.
Yeah.
we never do that.
That's 2 for 2. We're 2-0
But I
today.
promise
0-2,
you-
sorry.
I promise you guys, he did say that.
I think he's just hanging out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he's going to come on a show later. So we're live. We got somebody hanging out watching this. So, all right. The next item we have up, surprise.
I've seen this. I saw this one on Twitter the other day, and it got me even. I quickly was like, "What the heck?" And the cars moved. So it's was it Ross Weiss? I guess. He's posted on Twitter about having a jump scare. He's in the 87s cars, and he's at Daytona, and he's driving. He's drafting one of the cars right in front of him, and that car sees the wreck. It moves out of the way, and all of a sudden there's a car right in his lap, basically, and it jump scares you.
I've had this happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had that happen too with wrecks too.
This hasn't happened to you. You haven't ran enough speed.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you can't see through that car in front of you.
No, and that's the worst part of it. It's like, oh, he sees it, and he moves, and he doesn't let you know.
Look, as the leading car, though, is it like you're supposed to be kind of nice and kind of let the guy know we're going to be going left here because there's a wreck up here, and instead of just abruptly going left, like kind of move over slowly so the guy catches the clue behind you.
Yeah.
When you're at a high speed, when you're at high speed, you're not thinking I'm going. I mean, I guess some people do try to call out checkouts and stuff like that, but I don't have that brain bandwidth usually. I'm usually everything is focused on trying not to.
I know that if I
die.
try something like that, I'm just gonna wreck.
Yeah.
I'll wreck myself because I'm too focused on it too.
All right, we got a street course from Ontario.
Wow, it's replacing one of the best street courses that there was in Indy for a while. That came up when they came up to Canada. So we got Markham is now taking over the Toronto Indy, and it's kind of made some people angry.
Yeah, I mean, there's a forum post here from Isaac Elsner saying it's the world's silliest street course. And there's a lot of comments in the forum thread on this, but I mean, honestly, looking at it, it doesn't look like that's that bad of a street course. I really don't understand the hate.
I think the biggest problem with it is it's taking the history out of Indy. Toronto Indy has always been it. We have a very famous, really bad stretch of road. It's the most congested. It's congested from like 7 in the morning till like 9 at night, or even earlier than that, and the lakeshore. And that's when they come down that long straightaway, and they shut it off for a whole weekend, and people still get around for Toronto, and then open it back. Once they open it back up, it's like, oh, it can do it. But taking that out of Toronto, I can see why people are a little angry about it. I don't know what the street's going to be like in Markham. It's another famous area there for racing on, but I don't know. It doesn't have the history. It doesn't have it. But I think with the turns and maybe getting a different demographic of the not having to come downtown into like the main Toronto area, it'll be a lot nicer.
So iRacing will obviously scan this because they need it for the IndyCar game, right?
Well, that's what I was hoping we were going to have with the Toronto Indy. I've been looking for Toronto because, back in the day we had Papyrus. They had Toronto in there. I ran many.
Now you're not even going to get it.
I'm not even going to get Toronto down. I wanted Toronto forever because we've got Canadian Motorsport Park and we got Montreal and things like that. Some of the Canadian tracks, but we never got the street course since they've started adding the street courses into iRacing. So I was thinking having the iconic track, because that is one bumpy track. Like I imagine some of these sim rigs that we've been in. Toronto is probably the lakeshore is just as bumpy as Sebring, but we'll see. I'm guessing you're probably right, Mike. It's going to get scanned pretty easily, and
they
I'm
need
sure
it for the
I'm
game.
sure they'll be up there when they do it next year.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's going to have a fake render first of it, like a.
And guys, look, the beauty of iRacing having the NASCAR console game license and the IndyCar game license, we know they're going to provide tracks. We're going to get all the fresh tracks.
Yep.
All right, let's introduce another new car. We've talked about it. We have the Mustang Dark Horse GT4, and that's a nice paint job.
Yeah, so we got a quick hit on Instagram, iRacing, just some screenshots of the new GT4 car. Yeah, this is one I think a lot of people have been excited for. I'm looking forward to it. So it's I think even in the GT4 version, it still sounds fantastic when you hear it race by.
I think Brad's gonna like me saying this, but I've run the GT3 of the Mustang here on some of the sim rigs, and I'm actually more enjoying that car now on the GT3 side than any of the other ones I've had because of the sound and everything. So I think I might be converting. I think Bobby's gonna have to get me.
That's mighty American.
He's gonna Bobby's gonna have. Well, I was running the Corvette anyways, or whatever. So, but I think Bobby's gonna have to get me a nice Sim Wraps paint for the Mustang.
All right, so we have the next topic is always the bridemaid. This is from Leek Nebon. He was looking through the stats and he came across a stat that doesn't get looked at often in sim racing, but it does in the real world. That's basically who's always the bridemaid and not the bride. So it's the winless drivers with the highest I rating. Okay.
Now look, why I picked this out, because I want to pick on a listener who's on this list.
Oh, no.
It's not pick on him, but Chad McNeese is actually second on the list. And he's one of our regulars in the Discord. But Chad McNeese has 145 starts with 0 wins and a I rating of 38.14. And that puts him in second place with Nihun Flores in first with 383 starts with 0 wins with an I rating of 48.11.
How many second places without a win though too would be?
That'd be a good
It would be interesting to see how many second places they have there.
So I can't think of drivers that didn't win races, but I can definitely think of drivers that didn't win championships. Right.
Well, what was Chase Elliott's for like 9 second place finishes before he ever won a race finally? Like there's plenty of drivers out there that never won races that were considered decent drivers.
Brad, what can we do to help Chad McNeese get a win?
Chad probably needs to spend more time behind the wheel as opposed to continuing to help him with all the spreadsheets.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He's the guy that does the wheel spreadsheet.
He does he has all the hardware stuff. And Chad, look,
He finishes first in that though.
Yeah, Chad and I've chatted a bunch, but Chad knows how much I appreciate what he does for the sim community. He is a fantastic resource. But Chad, we got to get you a win, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna get you a win somehow. Like, we need to get you in Discord so we can spot you or something.
So I do want to bring up something. When you look at sports car, now again, this is a little bit skewed because of the split, but you got the guy in second place, Michael Meyer, has got an I rating of 5,300, but he only has 51 starts.
So they're all top
no
10s
wins.
probably. They're probably
No wins.
But they're probably top 10s.
It's a lot of I rating.
For 51 starts.
But is it 51 starts since it changed over to sports car?
Again, that's the confusion now. I don't know, because
Is he an open wheel guy that went over to
It-
sports
it
car,
could
or
be before the split? But that one just kind of stood out to me with the low number of starts. It's such a high I rating.
and it may not
Yeah,
be.
how
Or
would you
there,
do
there's
something like that?
5 different ways that could be
Yeah.
confused. So yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to this week in iRacing, right?
So this week in iRacing, we had the Indy 6 Hour that is happening this weekend. So we weren't able to participate in it because we're at the show. That's the biggest thing that's happening this week. The iRacing, NASCAR iRacing series is at Gateway. We'll talk about a little bit later results. That's been a disaster. Yeah, so the Indy 6 Hours, that's the big one of the week. So
The Majors is also having their Petit Le Mans solo race this weekend. So it's not a team race. It's just I'm not sure. I don't remember what the length was, but it's the solo race, non-team. And I think they're going to be doing, when they open up Mech Series again, they're going to be starting with a Petit Le Mans race warm up for the iRacing team.
And so coming up, we have the Bristol. It's full distance this week. Yeah, and it's week 13. All right.
Maybe I can participate in one this week. I'm off work. Maybe I can stay up one of the nights and race.
Teasing
I'm
us. You're
teasing.
not
I
gonna
have
race.
to tease you. I have
You're
to
not
tease
gonna
you.
race.
It's too bad last night. We probably, if we could have had the room, we could have done NIS at 8 on their rigs.
That would have been hilarious. All of us cursing beside each other. Brad wrecked. David protesting someone.
Justin spins his wheels and wrecks.
Mike has 20 people following and watching his race.
Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review at your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Check out our Discord. Guess what? I've been putting up videos and pictures all weekend long. Everybody in Discord has gotten a preview of everything going on at the show. Of course, our 500th episode show notes are at iRacersLounge.com. We are in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network. Get your merchandise at iRacersLounge.shop.
All right, a little feature with the fantasy this week is that we got to meet our points leader in
Yes,
person.
we did. So the Cup Series rolled into Darlington this past week. Really, some crazy results for the win. We had Boats and Hose taking with 253 points. But then, as we start to go down, we had 4 drivers tied for 6th. And we had 4 drivers tied for 10th. Wow. That's why. So the guys made a lot of good picks. I do want to give a shout out to William Westbrook, our perpetual road guy that is spanking all of us when it comes to doing fantasy NASCAR. So William, great job with the second place finish.
So he knows just not enough to make the dumb picks.
Yeah, correct.
Penguin Racing? I didn't realize that was him.
That's him, yeah. So yeah, I do want to give a shout out. So we're sitting at the booth, and a guy walks up and he goes, "I'm in the fantasy." I said, "You're in the fantasy." He says, "I'm Mike Wuju. I need the fantasy points." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So yeah, met Mike Wuju today. Great guy. I talked for quite a bit. So he's got the overall lead in the point standings for the season. So 39 points ahead on Matt Robb. So Darlington, guys. Chase Briscoe gets the win.
He dominated that race.
Yeah, 300.
7 laps. Yeah, 7 laps.
And a big shout out to Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, he showed up both the 42 and the 43. I mean, we expect Eric to run well, but I did not expect John Nemechek to run as well as he did as well. So
How'd Mike's guy do? Shane.
He gave away all the points
He gave
that
away
he
all of
needed
his
to.
playoff points,
Yeah,
basically.
he did. They had some pit road trouble as well. And again, that's Darlington. But yeah, I mean, it was a kind of a typical Darlington race. You know, I think back to the spring, William Byron led 240, 270 some laps, but he didn't get the win. But yeah, Briscoe just absolutely dominated.
You would definitely have to say that Hendrick wasn't really plugged in.
Hendrick wasn't plugged in. You know, Penske was really not nowhere really to speak of.
And y'all completely missed my pun. The air hose. The air hose was not
plugged in.
Yeah.
I totally even forgot about that in the race, to be honest. Because they all had poor finishes.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't.
That was funny because I didn't know what was going on.
Which is crazy because they dominated.
How in the world does it take still that long as a race team to figure out that the hose wasn't plugged in?
Like the whole hose, right? The backup.
It was,
they had nothing.
yeah, like they were.
You would think you would have all your backups, all that stuff is checked before you start the pit stops. You know, the primary goes down, the guy runs over it, they hand him a new gun, he rolls back and it's like a 3-foot hose on it, and there's nothing connected. You know, I mean, it turned into a clown show, and that's what it looked like.
But it's almost like now they're gonna have to go and practice if something goes wrong. That other carrier's got to go over to the others. Like they could have negated some of the time by the other carrier just taking up the slack.
Now, what about Gateway? I mean, who do we like for this? I mean, it's going to be
It sounds like a
shit
Penske.
show.
But could it be could it be a week where everyone's picking it to be Penske and all of a sudden someone comes out as a dark horse?
I mean, let's look at last year. Cedric gets the win, but Blaney was leading, ran out of fuel.
Was that last year?
That was last year. So, yeah, I mean...
Oh, because it wasn't in the playoffs.
Correct, but in the playoffs, Joe Logano's been good there. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think
Kyle Busch has won that one.
Penske is the pick.
The top 4 points, I think, since they've gone back to Gateway is Penske.
It's
The
been
top,
Penske.
the top 4 point standings.
Do we think Hendrick's going to have a horrible playoff all 10 races, or are they going to find something at some point here? They haven't shown a lot of
They haven't showed
speeds
anything.
in a while.
They're not good at flat tracks. They don't have a lot of speed.
But they've been trying. But you hear all the podcasts. They've been focusing on it, and they still haven't figured it out, which is weird for someone like Hendrick Motorsports not to find something at some point.
Yeah, I think Penske's got a heavy shot. Penske's got a shot, and Bell. JGR there.
Bell hasn't had a great showing yet either. He needs to.
He was hot, man. Went 3 in a row.
And then he's just.
It's been, falling.
Well, and I don't know. We don't know what's happened to Larson. Like Larson he was in contention, but apparently he had damage from that at Darlington because he smacked into the back of who was it on the restart? Briscoe or something.
When I look at Larson, I think about golfers when they get the yips. That's what it almost seems like.
He almost
he
needs.
had the issues at Indy, and he hasn't been right since Indy.
He almost needs the season to just end so that he can start over.
I'm not as big as a fan, but a lot of people are calling for an underdog Carson Hocevar. Because
I don't see.
He's too
was
sloppy.
bad.
I don't. He always has something he does that.
But last year, this is where he made his debut, I think.
He jumped. He got into
Two
he
years
he
ago.
got- Yeah, 2 years ago. He got into 7 for the Joy, and because the Joy went and got in.
Wasn't he in the top 10 when he blew a rotor?
He was. Because the Joy went and he filled in for Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
And Chuck.
And choked.
Yes.
Typical LaJoy fashion. So, all right. So as we roll out of Darlington, we have Mike Woodrow in the lead with 50-43, followed by Matt Robb 40. Third is Res Dog. Fourth, Cletus 545. Fifth, Mud Dog. And I want to give a shout out to Penguin Racing. Our road guy has cracked into the top 10 of the points in ninth. So William, awesome job.
Yeah, nice to meet Wojo too.
All right, Mike, earlier we were talking about one of the hardware brands that's come out lately, and I think you have an interesting take on it.
I do. It's called Thermal Take is the company, and they're putting out a whole line of soft sim racing product. And if you start looking at it, it looks familiar. Like, wait, is this new for Thermal Take? Well, no. I found out definitively by going to the Cube Controls booth, talked to the guy there, and asked him point blank, hey, are you guys selling stuff to Thermal Take and they're reselling it with their own logo? Oh yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, so we had a video here from OC Racing, who
Which
we actually
we met,
this-
yeah.
we met this
It was
weekend.
really- it was a good
This weekend.
conversation to talk with him.
Absolutely. But so he's got a short on this, and he's showing off their. I think this is either 12 or 15.
15.
Base.
Yeah.
This doesn't look anything like the stuff from Cube Controls, but this past week, I'm doing a little bit of surfing, and we talked about this last week. A couple of the items looked very odd. The pedals looked odd. The steering wheel looked odd. So my thought was these look just like Cube Controls. So like Mike says, he goes over to the booth and he just flat out asks them, "Is that what you guys are doing?" And that's what they're doing.
So how is that advantageous as a business for either side? The same product, just putting a different label on it.
Well, let's look at generic brands.
Isn't that like GM putting like a GM Sierra and a Chevy? Like you have.
Again, let's think about food. You can go and you can buy, name brand cereal, or you can get the generic. There's not a whole lot of.
They're made in the same factory usually.
Made in the same
just
factory.
packaged different.
Bread is a fantastic one. You'll have 10 different brands of bread that are all made out of the same factory. It just depends on what bag they're going in. So, I mean, look, I think you're probably going to see this even more. I mean, look, Thermal Takes, they've been in business for years. We probably all use stuff of theirs when we build computers.
Right.
Very big into the computer parts and stuff like that. Well, they want to get into sim racing.
Right.
Instead of starting all that stuff up on your own, what do? You find somebody that you you can buy and you can rebrand.
So Bobby in the chat has a good take on it. He goes, easier to gain market share with a trusted name like Thermaltake.
There you go.
All right. They've got the marketing
So
strength
they're
to put it
still
out.
getting, I guess, some of the profit, even though Thermo's selling for them.
Selling to them.
Well,
Yeah.
look, Cubes Control is a very European company. They're from Italy. They have some distribution in the U.S., but not a big footprint.
Microcenter is where they most of their stuff is through.
Right. You know,
Speaking of
Thermaltake.
distribution.
Well, they've also got a sim rig out now. I don't know if you've seen that. Now, I didn't see one at the show, but on their website they do have a sim rig with the Thermaltake. Yes.
It's an interesting name for a hardware brand, though. It kind of, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think they
They
started.
do
with-
computer parts.
yeah,
No,
with
I just like
CPE
I don't.
fans. I mean, that's.
I've got my Thermaltake wheel.
Yeah, I mean,
So I don't know if it's on the script or not. I haven't gone all the way through, but I did talk to the Sim Lab founder, and they are opening a center in America, essentially a distribution center.
Great.
So
That'll be good.
Yeah, he's working on. I think they're expecting it towards the end of this year. So that's a little live news from the station. It was great getting to visit with him, and he knows the show because he's been a sponsor of us before, and several of us are SimLab clients. So. All right, Mike says he's got his eyes on this next topic.
Yeah, so this is a reference from Instagram from UFD Tech to this new trend of putting small display screens inside your computer case. And it's a trend, I think, and I think it's a bad idea. Why? It's using your outputs. It's using your video outputs. You have 4 video outputs on your card, and you got 3 of these little screens inside a computer. You're going to have to plug 1 or more of those into your video card or your motherboard's graphic, or maybe it's a USB driven, but that uses one of those precious USB slots that we all need and covet in sim racing. So I just want to say, as a sim racer, I think it's a bad idea to put displays inside your case. Because look, you want to maximize your performance. Why would you bog down your computer running all these displays for what? So it looks pretty?
Right.
So anyway, here at the show, we had, there were several different computer manufacturers that build custom PCs. And I saw one that had 3 different displays in it. And I'm like, okay, it'll look good.
What does it do for you, though? Well, how does it help you sim race?
Well, some of them are like, they'll show you the temperature.
It's
of
more of
your
the streaming.
GPU.
Yeah.
It's like why do guys put sound systems in cars and like it's just extra things you do, right?
The LED stuff that comes in a lot of the CPUs and memory, that's not pulling from a display board.
No.
So,
no, your
I don't even.
LEDs are just
Are they pulling from a display port or are they pulling USB-C?
I've seen it both.
Okay, because that Bobby was saying it possibly could be USB-C on a lot of them
I've seen
too.
it both.
I guess it would
these
depend on how much
computers-
data it actually, what kind of resolution and color it's
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean, it
pull.
depends on how your setup is. I mean, like for me, my tower is on the back side of my setup monitor. I can't see it anyway. I don't care.
Well, yours
I mean,
is
I've got
too.
RGBs and stuff, and it goes on. I don't care. I can't see it. It's facing away from me.
Mine's visual. I can see it, but I don't need
See, I don't want to. I don't want to see it. That's lights. It's distracting.
You like the distracting lights up top, not beside you.
Yes.
What about the wind?
There's no wind.
All right, the next one we have is the Gomez Interlock. Have you gotten a chance to look at
Oh
this
yeah,
one?
we got our hands all over it. Tom Dreiling, our teammate, buying this, and he's buying just the button box part of it. Okay, and this is Gomez Industries' new wheel. And a couple things I have to say about this. I talked to Dan Suzuki from Gomez, and I told him what Tom is going to do, which is buy an MPI wheel and use this button box. Will it fit? Will it work? And he said, oh yeah, no problem. And so I talked to another attendee who was trying to do the same thing Tom was, and his concern was, are we going to be able to reach the paddles with the oval rim? You know, and everything, especially with the oval rim and the deep dish. Will this button box fit right in that wheel? You know. So I think those are open questions. I also got to interview or talk to the founder of Gomez, Mr. Gomez himself, and I asked him one of my key questions on Formula Wheels is the weight. Why are you always 200 grams heavier than most of the other top competitors? And he said it's quality. I don't use plastic. I use carbon fiber and steel. I don't want to compromise. And I said, what are we giving up by your wheels being heavier? He said, if you're on a 15 Newton meter or higher, you're not giving up anything. He said, if you're on a smaller wheelbase, you may have some loss of fidelity just due to that little increase in weight, but it's not a concern for him. It's not a concern. I thought it was a concern for me, but talking to the guy who built them and built this company from scratch and been so successful, I'll believe what he has to say.
Yeah.
I would definitely not think 200 grams is a big deal on my DD1 running 20. I don't think I would notice
Well,
it.
I think the concern is if someone's on, say, a Rosa R5, 5 Newton,
So-
5, again, you don't have, there's not a lot of power there. When you start to talk about 200 grams doesn't seem like a lot. 200 grams is being thrown around continually. I think you're going to lose some fidelity when it comes to feed that.
I'm
But
going to be
you're
a
not
little
really-
concerned for the person that buys a Moza R5 and then buys a Gomez wheel.
Right. That's the whole idea. Don't do
Okay.
that.
But you're not really throwing around 200 full grams, though, are you? You're like, the weight's not all on the outside where the motion's going. It's through the whole thing. So
Yeah, but it's still going to
it's heavier. Yes.
It's going to dampen it.
Yeah.
It's dampening. Yeah, that's what you're getting at.
Yeah,
It's
how heavy-
it's a loss of detail, I think is what you're getting at.
But if you have an R5, are you going to feel like you've lost detail on an R5 or something like that? Because you don't. Do you even know what's missing?
You might not, but look, if you have an R5, get the Sim Magic Neo, real light, smaller wheel, or the new Cube Control
That cube control one, the Asterix one is really nice.
You would definitely just be I think you'd be putting your money in the wrong place if you buy that kind of a rim and put it on a low end direct drive.
Right, you should get the better base first, right?
Yeah. All right. Do we want to talk about the second entry in the same target?
No, it's just another video.
Another video.
Beautiful
All right.
wheel though.
Yeah. All right.
Like the
we have
look.
a Sim Magic Evo QR8 quick release.
Yeah, so this is the Sim Magic quick release that they had promised when they released the Evo line. There was some preliminary ones that were sent out that there were some issues with that some of the reviewers used, but so this is your quick release for your wheel and your wheelbase. This has pass-through USB power, enough power to power all wheels. So that was some of the other issue was there was never enough power through the USB in order to run, a DDU and all this. So yeah, so Cube Controls, Astro Wheels, GSI. This is what Sim Magic needed to do in order to be able to really be a base that is not just their own stuff, but when you've got the ability to run other people's stuff, it gives you much more options. I think it opens up them to be able to sell more wheelbases that you can run some third-party wheels. And we talk about ecosystems. Some ecosystems are good. Some ecosystems get you so locked in you can't do anything else. You think about the Thrustmaster ecosystem.
The
Fanatec is really known for that.
Yeah, I mean, you're trapped. And that's, there's no getting out of that ecosystem once you're in it. So, Sim Magic again continues to kind of push the envelope, I think. And, this is what you're going to see. Sim Labs is going to do the same thing. We talked to them this week. There will be pass-through USB. And their new wheelbase is supposed to come out next year, right about the beginning of the year. We got to try it this weekend. Thing feels fantastic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. Super smooth, a lot of detail, no filters. That's what I'm told. Not a single filter running on their software. So everything coming out of iRacers is just straight raw data.
Yeah.
My gosh, it felt good. But this is the stuff that you've got to have. People want to be able to use high-end wheels, and they want to be able to use them without either having to connect a cable to be able to do a USB pass-through. So, good stuff.
Well, all the equipment I bought was intentionally designed to go with companies that had compatibility with other wheels and things.
Right.
If I had to get locked into one ecosystem, I didn't buy the product.
Right.
I rejected it, and that's what I'll do in the future. I just won't do it.
Smart.
all right, there's a new pedal that SimiCube put out, and it's essentially either a clutch or a throttle.
It's both.
Right? Yeah, you have to sort of convert it one way or the other, I guess. Is that changing by changing the faceplate?
Yeah, so there's two face plates included, and then there's a spring or a pin or something that has to be changed.
So
It takes
probably-
about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They give you everything you need to do it. But the idea is that SimiCube has never offered a proper clutch to go with the active pedal. So they've offered a passive throttle. They've discontinued that and replaced it with this throttle, which can double as a clutch. And so the idea is you buy 2 of these and you use one as a throttle, one as a clutch, and one as an active brake. Well, obviously the active brake is an active
Yeah.
So
brake.
did we fix a problem that wasn't there? Why not just make a clutch?
Well, look, Sarah asked me, Mike,
It's probably simplifying their stuff on the manufacturing side. It's probably a cost savings to do
Mike,
this.
how did it drive? Because it was announced last night. They put it on the rigs today. I got to run the rig this morning with it on there as a throttle and a clutch. And I told Sarah, it feels like it did yesterday with the old one. It's the same. It doesn't. There's no
So
difference.
It doesn't have like a 2-stage, like a lot of the clutches that we've got, where you've got that 2-stage.
I never actually tried the clutch. I've only because I was in a F1 Formula car.
Gotcha.
Needs a road car that has a clutch, or sorry.
But I was comparing the throttle.
Yeah, I will say on with SimiCube, Justin Pearson and I went to a seminar today and listened to the SimiCube people. And one of the questions came up was, well, should I have an active pedal for both the throttle and the brake? The SimiCube guy said no. Instead, get these new pedals for your throttle and your clutch. Just have an active brake.
Now, is the problem that they're trying to create is trying to keep people in their ecosystem by having an option? Like you said, there was already there was an option, but how many people have just the brake pedal and then they go out of that ecosystem to grab a different clutch, a different brake?
Heiskebelt. People do.
Yeah, so maybe they're just trying to come up with a way that I
that
can buy this and I don't have to buy this one pedal and then this pedal. At least it's a double option.
And so to tie into with that, I mean, Huskyville is actually selling just a throttle and a clutch now. You can just buy.
But how often that's going to be? Probably now it's been out. That's what the market's going to be like now. It's probably the next interface of all these companies are going to be buy these pedals separately. I have a feeling that's where it's going to go because before it was braking, gas and brake, and then it's like throw in the clutch, and then now they're all together, and now they're separating them again.
So they're not cheap, $450 each.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're looking at $1,000 in
And you gotta have that
with
base
your active
plate.
pedal with another
Your active
4,000 with
pedal,
another
which is what,
4,000.
2,500?
You gotta have the base plate. You can't buy it without the base
Well, it's
plate.
better. Well, think of the guys that are OCD and want everything to match, and they bought all 3 of them for $2,500 a pop. So I think they wanted to give those guys an alternative to keep everything
Same
matching.
color,
Yeah.
the same look.
I think that would bug Brad.
Oh, absolutely. It would drive me back
We
crazy.
had 3 different pedals. They want to bug
Goes with
me.
his high school steering wheel.
And you really don't get a lot of force feedback out of a throttle other than when the engine's idling. So I don't think it's necessary.
Well, that's what you said, Mike. There was a vibration, or no, sorry, it was Sarah that was saying is the gas was vibrating, but the brake wasn't when the engine was on. So it's not really realistic. You got one foot that's vibrating, giving you feedback
Well,
like
that's
it's the
what-
engine.
Well, that's in reference to Moses setup.
Oh, it's Moses. Oh.
So you have the Moses brake, but I have a Simpson
Oh, okay.
throttle.
I thought it was from that.
So the throttle is dead, but the brake is active, and so it is kind of weird just to get the vibration only on
So
one.
why not just put haptics on the throttle?
Well, maybe that's the
You
answer.
do haptics on the throttle. That way you get the
But is it
vibration.
different haptics? Like, how do you get them to both feel kind of the?
Kind of match.
Because the problem with an engine is you should be feeling it the same through the pedals, right? Because it's
In theory, they
That's-
should be close.
Yeah.
That is really one of the least important details, though.
no.
When you're on-
Brad
when
has
you're
one
on the
that he
track.
hates the most. That's the least important.
it's-
It's the
well, wind, yeah.
Wind is
Yeah.
first.
So let's rate the
There's one
name
over
of
there
this
that's blinking
product.
at it.
It's called the Co-Pedal. Is that a good name? Co-Pedal?
I feel like a co-pedal is like something on like for what the plane simulators here, the flight simulator.
I don't know. It's just an odd name. I thought
Yeah.
I'd mention it.
All right, this next one's kind of up my alley and Mike's alley, but more mics because you use speakers, whereas I like to use headphones. I use studio quality headphones when I race.
My alley too.
But we have an Instagram post from Next Level Racing. Nope, I scrolled down too far, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right.
That's just Next Level Sound and Next Level Racing. And it just doesn't say a whole lot on the posts except what sound system are you using with your rig.
So they're selling this KEF or KEF sound speakers now as part of their packages. And look, I always say this, I think everyone is skimping on the audio on your rig. And now that Next Level Racing is realizing that, they've got some very high quality left and right front speakers here. These look like studio monitor style monitors. Yeah.
Well, I've always run, since I've got my Advanced Sim Racing rig, I've gone to 5.1 surround sound, and I've always run the sub. It sits on top of, because I run inverted pedals, so it has a flat plate on top of it. I've put the sub on top of the plate, so it uses the vibrate of the sound, and it's actually really nice because it keeps it compact. I got this big box sub where I don't have to put it on the ground. It's now part of the rig, so if I want to move stuff, it's because that's on casters, I can move it. I don't have to unhook anything. All my sound's wired through the rig.
That's a good idea.
Anyways, but the 5.1 is always good. The only problem I ever have is trying to split the audio when I'm talking to somebody in iRacing or something like that. You guys used to complain forever. You could barely hear me because you heard the surround sound. But I feel like a lot of people just use headphones, right?
Yeah.
I just don't like the headphones because I like to just
like to
have
feel
audio
it.
of I just have the audio of someone talking in there, like my spotter or you guys, and then having the sound around me, it feels like I have a helmet on.
Right.
That's what it kind of makes me feel like.
Yep.
So do you wear headphones and have
Yes.
the external
Yeah,
sound?
the headphones are just for
I just don't have noise canceling headphones.
Really?
When you guys talk in Discord, that's all I hear in the headset.
Yep. So it's blank. So you just drive around. It's blank, but it's like wearing a helmet. I felt like it when I was on a motorcycle. Like you'd have your helmet on, you get less noise from outside, but you still have. I get the vibration also through my whole rig because of the sub, but it really makes it more. For me, it's just I can understand you guys a lot better too. I don't have to tune up the sound to get what you guys are saying in
Look,
it too.
I'm screaming my Harman Kardon speakers at 105 decibels. They're screaming like
Really?
9 out of 10. Okay. And so when you put the headset on, it actually protects your hearing from that. But look, it's a race car. It's supposed to be loud.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the subwoofer. I don't have it hooked to audio. I have it hooked to LFE coming out of the sim.
Okay,
So
that's
the,
good
the
too.
sim has a bass shaker LFE
Yeah.
thing. That's running my 15-inch woofer that's over in the corner. And so it doesn't really do audio, but it's doing LFE style stuff. And the mix of that all together, the screaming and the
I wonder if I
headphones
should
on,
do-
it's just perfect.
I wonder if I should change that setting on mine where I run it on the
Put
plate.
the sub separate.
Yeah, then the
Right.
sound.
So, in iRacing, your sound output, you can have helmet, open face.
I don't use any of that.
What
No,
do you have yours at? It's
Just the normal.
just normal, whatever the default was.
Default.
the default. Okay, I was curious.
I've never tried. Have you ever tried the helmet one?
have, but I didn't like
I mean,
it.
with headphones, that's I have closed face.
Yeah.
I have the closed face option because
Yep.
that's nobody runs with an open face helmet anymore. But it does sound different.
Do you don't when you do the 87 car? You don't feel like you wear
I don't
open?
run the 87 car very often.
All right. Next, we're going to spend a little bit of Brad's money because this is his new favorite wheel. We have
Oh, no.
a wheel being released by Huskenbild.
Brad's favorite wheel.
Wait, what's the title of this?
The title of the article is actually "Stay in Your Lane," but it
Stay in
doesn't
your
sound
lounge.
right. It doesn't sound right coming out of me.
Right,
We
so
have to have Brad
we
say it.
have teased this the last couple of weeks, and we've made all kinds of questions. What is it? Are we getting an active pedal? What are we getting? Is it a bass? What is it? And we rolled in here yesterday morning, and there it was. This big picture of the Huskenfeld 1.
It's like a
I didn't realize that was
formula
a-
wheel, but
I am woefully disappointed. I don't even know what to say. Who signed off on this?
Batman.
well, wait a minute.
Flight
So let me
controls,
ask,
flight
is it
controls.
Because the product, it doesn't match up in what we expect for quality out of high school guy, or it's the type of
It's
product?
the type of product. But
We can't tell the quality yet. We don't know. It feels.
I've held it. I mean, yeah.
It's a hard plastic.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess, where the buttons are is very easy to get to with your thumbs. But look, they do pedals very, very well. I think one of the best. I own them. They do shifters very, very well. You don't have to do everything. Stay with what you're good at. Just do that and do it well.
Doesn't just about every corporation out in the music world end up doing this sometimes, where they just think they've got to get bigger and bigger and bigger and go into more markets and more markets and more markets until they end up being bad at everything?
Is this the Cracker Barrel
You're our main corporate.
of stay in your lane?
But I mean, like this morning, I'm looking at X. I'm looking at Instagram, and I'm not the only one. Looking at comments, it's brutal. It is brutal.
Yeah.
Some of the comments. Back to us.
People don't like the
They
look
don't
of
like it. It just looks.
Well, look, it's got this for our audio listeners. It kind of looks like Star Trek, and it kind of looks like Batman. It's a very hard plastic, front and back. You hold it in your hand, you feel like you're holding a beefy piece of 3D printed something.
Right. It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel real.
No.
Why do we sim race? Because what we're trying to do, what? We're recreating racing.
That doesn't
Does-
belong in any
how many-
It doesn't belong in anything.
How many guys
This
do
would be
that?
great in a console game if you're playing Batman.
But my question is like you're right there with it. Like I kind of look at, I don't like getting the replica wheels because they're so expensive, right? Like when you put this Porsche symbol or Mercedes, it adds zeros. That's basically it. You can have it look like one without it having that in it, and hopefully it doesn't cost as much. But something like this is like we're trying to design it for their best ideas, but it's like there's a reason that most wheels don't look like this in race cars, because it's not like they design race car wheels to be ergonomically correct for doing stuff and just working it. I mean, like this really does look like way out of what the natural wheel is. Like we have a lot of wheels on the market are just like a bow tie, size. It kind of looks like two flight controls with a screen in the center.
It looks like an old a big PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
PlayStation controller.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
That,
looks like. It
yeah.
looks like a
with the
gigantic-
screen in the
screen in the
center.
middle.
Actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like the PlayStation's new their portable screen, PlayStation portable screen.
Yeah.
The price isn't terrible though. It's 600 euros or almost $600. Well, euros including tariff. So they've already adjusted
The
for
product
the tariff
doesn't
price.
match the reputation of the company.
Well, why would you start a new product when the market's flooded with that type of product already?
Because
Like
there's
you
so
said,
much more
the
competition.
market share.
So there's
It's
so much
just-
more competition in all of this. It's all exploding. That there's so many other pedal companies now that they're probably losing some pedal share.
Could be.
So they're thinking they've got to expand somewhere else
Yeah.
to keep the same level of income going. So, all right. I think Greg wants the next one, which is Astro by Q Controls.
So I tested this out this morning. I was over talking to the gentleman there at the booth, and I went on the rig with this. It's very nice light rim. We were talking about obviously
Real light.
weight. Yeah, it's really light, and between the lightness and
It's
the
still
price,
rigid.
it's actually pretty good for the market value.
It's like
But
1.1 kilos is what he told me.
yeah, and it's only a $3.99 price tag for it too, which is really good on what it is. I kind of like that. He said it was compatible with my Moses stuff too, which is really nice. They have the magnetic
Magnetic
connector for it, so you got that for other stuff. But on the rig, it felt really nice to throw around. I don't know, I couldn't remember. Does it say on there? I forgot to ask him what millimeter size it was, but it felt
300.
It's the 300. So it felt really quick and responsive. I was running Sebring. It was Sebring with it, and it was actually really quick to do back and forth for each one of the corners. If I was gonna spend some money on, the only thing I can't get my hand around is not the closed wheels. It's got the handlebars.
open grip.
I call it handlebars, but yeah, it's the open grip. But it's a really, for the market value without a screen at $399 is really good.
It's a good layout too.
Yes,
Even for
because those
of us with short thumbs.
the thumb dials too, changing up screens, things like that.
And again, let's look at the last two stories. One done well, and one not done well.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
if you're going to try to get to that price point, you got to do it well.
but Cube Controls has done a lot of really good wheels, but they're in their lane.
But that's
Yes.
Right there.
But look, this new Astral wheel from Cube Controls matches up in the quality of their previous wheels. It matches up in the style of their previous wheels. It matches up in, like, it's seamless. Like, they still have the F Pro over there, which I have.
Yeah.
That's 6 years old or whatever. And it's still a premium wheel.
They had their new pedals there as well that they were showing off.
Very impressed with Cube Control wheel. And look, they're going after a certain market. The people that buy the SimMagic Mio at $300.
Yep.
Look now,
So you're
for
$600
$100 more, you get an Italian Cube Control. It's better. I think it's better.
Well, and you're not so expensive to get into racing.
It's
right?
not $1,200 like I
Yeah.
said for mine. Yeah.
All right. Next up is a good catch-all topic that's going to be a little bit about the expo, specifically the motion rigs. And I think that's what I've noticed here is the biggest thing has been
Focus.
an arms race in motion rigs is what we're seeing here.
David's in this video too.
Oh, am I?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're in
okay.
it.
Cool. Well, we'll have to check. We'll have to play it here as we go. It's from the Motion Sim Fanatic, and he also, I think, tagged Driven Dynamics. I was in that rig.
Yeah, you're in
and
that rig for it.
The first time I drove it, it was at Panorama, and it felt amazing.
This is the one that Mike. This is the guy that Mike talked
So
to.
he filmed
too.
me when I was running Road Atlanta, because
Yeah.
he was in Road Atlanta right before I was. Yep.
There you are.
Yeah, this guy, just a shout out to the Motion Sim Fanatic. I got to hook up with him. We interviewed on live Facebook, and he's very knowledgeable.
This guy, interestingly, is a pilot, and he flew. He hopped in his plane and flew 30 minutes somewhere to go buy a wheel.
From
And flew
Facebook
back.
Marketplace.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Neat.
Cool stories. But yeah.
But let's talk about the motion. I mean, I think we all tried Driven Dynamics, and that was probably the most expensive one.
Yeah, it's 6 digits by
insane.
far, and I had a nice long conversation with their guys. They're definitely not focused on
Simcraft was expensive
the
too.
consumer market. Essentially, they're almost more
The
commercial
Simcraft
market.
ones were pretty expensive.
Yeah, the Simcrafts are high as well.
Sorry.
We got to try the DOF as well. Unfortunately, they only had iRacing Le Mans or Le Mans Ultimate. Or
Yeah, Le
whatever.
Mans Ultimate.
They were the most affordable.
They're the most affordable, and it does feel good. It definitely. The only difference that I felt is it was just less powerful.
I wanted to try it in iRacing rather than Le Mans because I don't have as much experience in Le Mans.
Yeah,
It would have been nice
But-
to try it in iRacing.
we didn't get a whole lot. We could feel the track, but you did Sebring, and you don't. What I noticed when I ran Bothurst was when I went over the hills, I felt like I was going over the hills.
Okay.
That was the
yeah.
biggest thing, and that's not going to make me any faster, but it just felt cool. It was definitely great immersion. So I went back to the DOF guys, like I need to run something with elevation change. Interesting, LMU doesn't have Bothurst. They only have like 10 tracks in the whole game.
It's mildly wet. I mean,
Yeah.
Endurance Championship.
Uh-huh.
That's what it's mildly. So.
And so
Oh,
I ran,
yeah.
the only one that has any elevation change is Spa. So I ran Spa, and I definitely got the same sensation.
And they have cars that are still coming in that too. I don't think I have all the cars in
Yeah,
Le
they're
Mans
still
yet.
working through that. I mean, look, it's been great, I think, to try the motion stuff, but I think some of us have come to the realization it's fun to get in there and play for a little bit.
But I can't race in
Hold
it.
on.
You want to do that all the time.
Here's my thing that I said to my dad. My dad's like, "Oh, you look pretty good in that." So I did the Apex 6-axis one over there. It's a $100,000 rig. I was running Sonoma, which is, one of my good road course tracks on the thing. I ran 7 seconds slower, and I thought I was running fast. It was a 7 seconds.
That was because the pedals were not great.
But I still felt like I was getting a good lap time, and I was 7 seconds off.
But that's my point, Greg, is to win and to race, we're not going to be in motion.
No,
way.
No.
I feel like these things, like David, you're with VR. We've talked about it. It's like VR is best for flying. It's great for flying, and I think some of these more are probably. It's good to add into sim racing, but I think they still feel more purpose based on the flying side of it
I mean, look,
and stuff.
I tried one that was at sim cubes. It was one of the not the gigantic ones like you guys. It felt really good. It had built-in haptics with it. It felt
The
really
sliding
good.
or the feel.
It felt good. It's just I don't want to feel that. I mean, I was 7 or 8 laps and I was tired.
Yeah, it'll beat you up.
If I had the money, I'd love to have it, but
I'd have a separate one. If I had the money, I'd have one for good race and then the fun
At the
one.
end of the day, I put haptics on my rig, and that is more enjoyable because I get the feedback, but I'm not getting thrown all over the place.
I wanted to see how it'd feel at an oval, and I did Darlington.
Yeah, I have a video of David doing that.
And it was, I guess I was mostly focused on how hard the car was to drive because I don't know if it was a setup with pedals. It was the gas was a featherweight
on
pedal,
off,
and it was just impossible to not spin out. But yeah, at an oval, I don't think it adds anything.
Yeah, I mean, and we tried some stuff yesterday, and we all agreed there were some that we tried where, what you're seeing and what you're feeling is not matching up, and it is not good. I mean,
The motion is not the same.
There's a
it's
motion.
not good when they're not in sync. It just feels. The very first one we got on, all of us jumped in the Mustang and Indy, and I mean, I felt like I was slow. I was missing corners, or I was stopping way before the corner. Nothing relate. I mean, just what I saw with my eyes, my body didn't feel it.
Well, there's There's one over. There was one over in the middle here that I think was dealing with part of Sim Experience or something like. I can't remember the name. I'd have to go back and check. They had Lamar again. They're running the GT3 Mustang, but it had the little bit. It was on an air cushion, and it moves just a bit. And I don't know what was under there. I never got a chance to talk to the guy, but when I was driving it, we were driving Road Atlanta, and you go up over the hill, and you come back down in the front stretch there, and you could feel the front end with the whole way that their setup was. You could feel the car move a bit, but you could also, through the wheel, it was giving me the sense, when I started putting weight into the front of the car, I could feel the front end getting heavy, but I could also feel it with what I was feeling where the back was turning just a bit, where it's like, oh, I can feel I got the input and I know it's going to actually go. But I also knew that if it was going to come out too. It was really actually interesting to feel.
You got one yesterday where you said that going down the straight,
I couldn't keep straight.
You couldn't keep straight because it was just like wow.
I felt like I was drunk. I honestly felt like I was drunk.
No,
Yeah.
you
We're
literally
talking about the
moved
timing.
wheel.
Yeah, it would push me. I'd be straight, and I'm all of a sudden it's doing this, and all of a sudden the wheel. I'm like, oh god, what am I doing here? And I'm like, and then you hit the brake, and then it doesn't make any sense because you're thinking you need to brake. I'm braking at my normal braking point, but I'm like 300 yards earlier or whatever.
Going back to the timing, I got to speak to 2 different engineers for the motion companies. iRacing is still pretty far behind on the latency with their telemetry.
60 hertz.
It's not just 60 hertz. They're getting the stuff many milliseconds late to where anything can use it, whether it's a wheel or a
The
motion
built-in
rig.
delay.
It's getting very late, and to run, they need to get it. He said, one of the guys said they need to get it down to a 3 millisecond latency to be able to really run a 360. And the 360 that they're currently running, even now, when he turns the 360 on, he actually gets the data slower than if he leaves it on 60.
Yes, because again, it's not true 360. They're amplifying. They're taking the 60 and just basically multiplying.
They're interpolating.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not
It's
not
just
native
guessing.
360. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's just
So,
guessing.
speaking of iRacing, Brad, you did see David Kamer here
Yes, seen him here all
briefly,
weekend,
but
yeah.
nobody else.
no, that's the only person I saw from iRacing. And we know that they're one of the major sponsors. So I mean, all of the all the software for all the competition, all that's been iRacing.
But they don't have a presence.
So what do they do? Unlock? I'm guessing they unlock it to all these experiences for the 3 days or something like that.
There's I think they have there's like a corporate version, or there's a show
It's like a
version,
business model.
Yeah, that they do, for that stuff.
One of the locations was actually set up for iRacing, where you actually type in your name and your email, and then it gives you a certain number of laps, and then report your time. So yeah, the iRacing has the some commercial versions.
Yeah, I got to try some of that too,
Yeah.
where you put in your name and they give you a certain amount of laps.
Yeah. All right, next up, this is not at the location, but we have a karting rig. essentially, right? From Podium One Racing.
There was a karting rig
There
here
was one
too,
here,
but
but
it's
this
not
is
this
not
one. I
that
don't
one,
think.
yeah.
I don't know if it's this one because it was a giveaway in the back corner.
So we got a specific rig that's built like a cart, but I kind of want to digress and talk about Midwest whatever guy that did the dirt car. So we had a guy approach us at the booth who builds a dirt car simulator. His name is Brett Newpert from Maverick Simulations Racing, and he basically takes old dirt sprint cars and converts them into sims for dirt racers. Basically, he uses the real dirt pedals. He's got the lever to move the thing on the top. He's got it all set up, and the pictures he showed were outstanding. I was blown away by how it looked.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something none of us really think about. None of us are really dirt guys. I never thought about somebody making a rig for someone running a sprint car, because everything is set up so differently in a sprint car. But yeah, we're going to try to get him on the show. Really cool guy. Again, I think reaching a market that is completely untapped. Completely untapped.
Well, and we were talking to a gentleman too that was trying to find a rig for his grandson because his grandson couldn't sit in his rig. And I said, I think Bobby from our team had created a smaller one for his son. So I was hoping to either get blueprints or something like that so we could put it on the show so that we could, for that market for getting kids. Because I think the hardest part is kids will grow out of it really quickly, whereas adults, we don't grow out of them.
One of the biggest points he made is that the pedal feel for a dirt car is just completely different. And they actually have an extra space in their rigs to set up another set of pedals.
Yes.
And so when you're GT racing, you just put it in a different place. He also interestingly pointed out that in dirt cars, the wheel is supposed to be tilted 30 degrees.
See, that's
And he got a way to tilt it.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of why I don't get into the sprint cars. I grew up for a couple years racing quarter engines, and it's just a totally different feel. Once you actually get in one versus your sim rig, it's just totally different. So I get why there's a niche for it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The karting rig is pretty neat, but we really don't have a good karting game. We talked before. I mean, trying to simulate kart physics really hard.
It's because it's
There's
based
so
on
much
rigidity.
weight.
It's based on rigidity and it's not based on suspension.
weight. Yeah, I mean, just very different.
It's kind of like I'm wondering how they're going to do a motorcycle too.
Same thing.
Motorcycle, they've had good arcade games.
Moses working on
but
something.
how do you simulate the feel of a motorcycle? Because it's all aerodynamics and your own weight to do it.
This, the arcade thing. You're going back to the left, going
But
to the right.
you've been in one of those arcade ones. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel great.
No, it is what it is.
Next up, we have a quick connect from SimuCube. No,
SimLab.
Excuse me.
SimLab. They've got a new quick release out. They show a sample of it on their Instagram account. I mean, it's pretty simple. You push it in, clicks into place. If you want to pull it out of there, you just flip the metal piece, lever, it comes out.
And you just push it in and snaps in.
Yeah, snaps into place. So it's pretty simple design, but it looks
Just
functional.
A square.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is probably going to come when they end up releasing the base, because again, this is going to be full USB pass-through and everything. Yeah, I love it. And this is really cool. It looks very, very sturdy, but very simple, to get on and off. Be very beefy, very solid.
And I guess let's just talk about wheelbases real quick. After we've tried all the different wheelbases at the show, I asked John, which is the one we buy if we buy one today?
SimuCube, man.
Yeah.
I got to try them all. And this is what I was excited about coming to this show, was to get to try out all these different products. I tried VRS is here, SimuCube, SimLab. There are some
Conspit, we tried
Simagic, Conspit,
VRS.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, the SimuCube is the one that impressed me the most.
The only one that wasn't here was
Who's
Moza.
second though? SimLab.
SimLab.
SimLab was smooth as silk, no filters. If I had to pick a second, it's SimLab.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, again, talking to SimLabs, the goal is to release their base beginning of the year in 3 options: 15, 26, 36.
36 is ridiculous. So you turn it and it'll flip you.
Yeah.
36. So the ones that we saw, they're using those older motors to where you've got the big coils coming out of the back, for the big separate power unit. All that's going away. What they had here are all prototypes. They pretty much landed on where they're going to be. It's just more of the package of how they're going to do the wheel. But really, really felt good. And I was really impressed. That's what I wanted to try.
Yep.
More than anything was to see what Sim Labs was talking about.
Yeah.
Because they started talking about this a year ago. They had one in ADAC last year and got a lot of good feedback. And one thing the guys told me, he said, look, our goal is to make the best direct drive wheel. And he told me, in order to do that, you got to beat who?
Semicube.
That's the goal. When Richard does something, he wants to be the best at it. So I'm still, look, I've said before, I'm going to make a move on the wheelbase at some point. This was the one that I wanted to wait and see. So I'm waiting a little bit longer because I want to see what this is. What's it going to retail for?
Right.
When do we get it? And then start to see some other reviews.
Yeah.
While we're on SimLab, we got permission to break a little news. Serenochi has actually is actually now going to be partnering with SimLab. It's going to be switching back to brand ambassador for her.
And her husband's going to work with them too, he said.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, good product, but they have not whispered out any prices yet.
No.
So we don't know.
All right, one more hardware thing that we missed. SimuCube active pedal versus Moza active pedal.
Yeah, I had a little FOMO after trying the title idea, a little FOMO. But look,
Little
I got
FOMO
to try
500.
the SimuCube active pedals and throttle, two of them together, and I was blown away. Look, compared to the Moza active brake, I just felt like it had this tiny bit more fidelity. Not much. And I told Sarah, I think the difference was if I'm in the Moza and I run over and I feel the road texture, but I don't feel the pebble I ran over. But I'm in the SimuCube, I'll feel the road texture and I will feel the pebble that I ran over.
Yeah.
It's just that little bit more of fidelity. And so the fact that I could feel it in the throttle, which I don't feel at all because I only have the Moza brake, that also gave me a lot of FOMO. But John reminded me, $4,000 compared to your $800. Look, you got to look at everything and the value of it.
Yep.
Yes, would I want it? Yes, but I'm not a millionaire. Okay, so
Right.
you got to be within reason. The Moza is 95% there.
Right. It's a good pedal.
Anything else we want to hit on the hardware side that we've seen out here before we jump to results?
I just want to second what John said from the very beginning. I mean, it was great to be able to actually put your hands on stuff. There's some stuff that you can go to Micro Centers and there's some stuff that you can touch, but to really be able to walk around to all of the major players, and it's not just grabbing a wheelbase, it's sitting in a rig, it's sitting in a seat, it's being able just to, one, talk to people, but two, to pick up, to be able to walk over to Gomez and pick up every single
wheel they have, and
just
see how it works on the dash. Dashes are all lit up.
Oh, I really like that. That was the same thing with cube controls.
Yeah.
Being able to touch them. It's one thing when you look at something, you're like, well, what's 285 millimeters versus 310? It's a number you can't think of until you actually put them side by side, and you're like, oh, that's a big, 10 millimeters doesn't sound like a lot, but it turns into it can be a big difference and stuff. So that's been the biggest takeaway for me.
My takeaway is we're only fast in our own rig.
Yes.
What I've learned is every time I sat in a rig today or yesterday, I'm slow as shit.
So if we would have made it to the event here, how was that going to go? Yeah, it was going to
choke.
There were quite a few rigs. We're not going to call names out, but there were quite a few rigs where the FOV was wrong, completely wrong.
Or
a lot of
base where it's clipping.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The monitors, like a lot of all the field of views on the ones that are the extended or the wide view monitors, like it's really, the ultra wides are really hard to get used to.
They haven't pulled out so far that it just doesn't feel like you can't gauge the speed. It just doesn't feel like the road's going the right speed. It's like you're looking through a fisheye lens.
Can I talk about three disappointing things, but two of them that are disappointing to me about this bike? Because I thought it's a sim gaming expo. was more just a sim
Where's the
flight.
farm stuff?
It's a sim flight and a sim racing here because they had truck driving for the Euro and truck simulator. A couple rigs with not even the right setups to show it off. There's a lot of product around there that
No hardware, really.
well, they have the Moza
yeah.
rim and they had the Moza base, but where's the actual thing where it mounts it and it turns it up mounts it like a truck wheel?
Right.
They have that for Moza. They put it on small GT rims or bases. The monitor's behind the thing, but then they pair it with the Tobii motion eye tracker. So then when you look over the steering wheel, it drops the field. Like everything changes, and it just didn't work together. I tried that. Then because I really wanted to try this when we had the Tobii topic on. I wanted to see what it was like because I was reading on the site it didn't work for triples. Well, it's working for triples here because I thought the people were saying it doesn't work for triples because it only picks up the center monitor. Well, if you're turning your head in iRacing, it picks up the whole head movement, so it works on a triple. But then I went over the giant games or studios and talked to them about the farm simulator and then their new project Motor Racing, which was basically Project.
Same developers who did Project Cars.
Yeah. So when I talked to him, the game's not like they put up the farm simulator was Xbox controlled.
That's it.
There is farming equipment out there that you could have tested. There's an actual farm stick that you can do all the things, mechanisms with using all the parts of the farming equipment. With Moza has their rim and stuff like that works with all that stuff. And then the Project One was, or Motorsports was disappointing with the field of view, and it really felt archaic. And the thing that got me is the guy didn't even know what track he was. He's a streamer, so I don't know. They didn't even use their own company here. They're using a streamer for their product too. So I think he was busy doing a bunch of other things. He didn't know what track he was giving me or anything. I just felt like it wasn't that side was lacking, and maybe that's just what we were talking about with George, or like it could just be a first year thing,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we've talked amongst ourselves. I mean, who are the ones that weren't here? Okay? I think there's probably some FOMO in some of our
Moza in general not having a booth here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be some
magic.
some stuff, some manufacturers that weren't here. But look, this is the first year.
Yeah.
Right.
Overall, fantastic.
Yes.
I don't really have.
I'm not really mad that they didn't have that.
It's a great show.
It's
Great show.
I can only imagine how much better next year's going to be. But again, I think there's some that we need to see here next year. And we're not going to call them out, but I mean, I hope there's 4 or 5 North American manufacturers that need to be here next year. Otherwise, I think you're missing out on a huge opportunity.
I had said too, there's a lot of focus on motion, and there's less of a focus on rigs and peripherals and wheels and shifters and pedals, and we need that kind of basic stuff.
Do you think like a thing like this, iRacing needs to have a booth here, or is it just good enough to
Yes.
They should have a booth here.
and like Le Mans maybe have a booth or
They
whatever?
should have a presence. At least show up with 3 or 4 guys and walk around.
Right.
Well, I think we got the one guy who was talking to us. I think he was confused, thinking we were iRacing at the first part, and
got
then
that
you
a couple
fixed it.
times.
That's a perfect example, though. I spent more time trying to explain to people things about iRacing because they had questions of like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? I'm new to this. I mean, one of the guys came up and said, how do I figure out where my brake bias is? I can't see when I've changed my brake bias. And I'm like, well, you just need to go to the black box.
Or third party apps because you can only have a black box.
I mean, a perfect example. You've got 2 or 3 people here from iRacing with a booth that can then answer those questions. Hey, what is this? Or why am I getting into this versus going to my console?
Right.
Or stuff like that. So I think that
It's a missed opportunity.
I think
Right.
it's a missed opportunity.
But it's been a good show. We had one of our live listeners on YouTube ask a question, and I'm going to tie it into this expo. This listener's my oldest son, by the way. Ross, he's on. He said, over the years, what are your best memories of iRacing, either within the group or solo? Now, here's the first thing I think of in memories of sim racing was, I used to do this at a desk with a Thomas Super Wheel and pedals.
Yep.
And my kids were little, and I'd sit them on my lap and let them race the car on the old Papyrus Sim. So that's 28, 29 years ago.
Wow.
I would have never thought that I would have the pleasure of being at a place like this. Look how far this sim racing has come.
It's amazing.
I mean, this is an incredible leap over what we used to do.
Yeah, I mean, this was so niche 20 years ago. Nobody, we were such a small community. People were like, you do what? What do you do? Now you say something, tell somebody what you do, and they're like, oh, you mean like William Byron and the other guys? 'Cause
Right.
People saw the stuff during COVID, you're like, oh, you race online. Simple. Oh, that's cool. That makes sense. 20 years ago, it wasn't like that.
No.
You know, it really wasn't. But you talk about the kids, and both of mine the same way. You know, we got videos of my kids, you know, trying to drive and just laughing
Right.
and having
Yeah.
such a good time. And, you know, that's the stuff. It's, again, it's who
I
would have
don't-
thought.
Well, my takeaway too is sim racing is a very solo thing in a lot of ways. We always home alone doing it,
Yes.
but we always, find that community in Discord, in Facebook Messenger. You team up with a team, but then to take it to the next level and meet in person, it's like just blows my mind. It's just so cool.
Well, and I think that's, to my son's question, memories, the memories of having them on my lap. But this is a memory that I'll keep forever, meeting you guys and being here.
Oh, yeah.
What could be better?
First one in the U.S.
There you go.
We're going to jump the results. NASCAR iRacing Series Darlington Friday Open. David, wrecked out.
Wrecked out a guy block went bad for both of us. He just pulled down in front of me, and I didn't really yield, and we both wrecked out.
Yeah, I got caught up in that wreck. I couldn't avoid you. So, I mean, look, P24 wrecked again. Look, it's same story, different week, guys. The absurdity of NIS right now, it's really on a crazy level.
So it was one of those situations where I'm catching it. I don't understand why these guys want to hold you up when you've run them down on a 20-lap run from 5 seconds behind, and they're not going to keep you from passing like the pros can do. We don't have quite the same physics, and none of us are that fast to begin with. All right, so
again, we expected Darlington to be better. Race the track.
Yeah,
And they're racing track.
and they weren't.
All right, Sunday Open NIS. David, wrecked out.
Okay, let's see. Wrecked out on lap 4. I think it was just one that wrecked out on lap 4. Somebody in front of me just got into stuff, and I couldn't avoid it.
Tony Rochette, P5. Joe Owen, I got wrecked out with too much damage on lap 26. Sunday fixed NIS Darlington. I ran and got a P9. There were 7 cautions in the first 50 laps. I was involved in 6 of them and had 16X, 50 laps. By halfway, I was at 24X and had to run the last half of the race with no incident points. But somehow pulled it off, ended up with a P9. Attrition was a major factor. Only 19 cars finished out of 37. Moving on to Wednesday Open NIS at Gateway. Well, actually, I ran Wednesday fixed NIS because I was off work, and I ended up finishing 21st. I had 24 incident points. I got 12 before the last 19 incident points. They were not my doing. It was a total shit show, 12 different cautions. I had admitted to looking for damage, and that was a mistake, and that put me in the back, and I lost that track position. Never really could regain it. Then I ran the Open P12, pretty much kept it clean, but got messed up in a couple incidents in the end and lost track position. Was able to get it back, most of it, and finish P12, happy with that. Justin, wrecked out.
Yeah, I know this by memory just because it should be P embarrassment.
It's been going round and round in your head, hasn't it?
It went around and around. Yeah, I was probably top 5 fastest car. I got wrecked 2 or 3 times by the same guy, and eventually made it all the way back to P3 on the final restart. And I decided I wanted to full throttle it first gear, and I spun it like I did it on purpose, and I just looped it and took my tail between my legs and hit the reset button.
Man, you were in a position to win. Look, I probably screwed it up for you because I was watching Justin above, and I'm like, dig deep, and he dig deep.
Yeah, nothing connected. It just went.
All right, moving on. Chris Waldron, which, by the way, just had a baby while we've been recording this podcast.
His wife had a baby.
Congratulations.
His wife
had a baby. Okay.
Because Chris could be a female
Chris
name.
Waldron, and what was the weight?
Yeah, 8 pounds 6 ounces. Yeah, shout out to him. I know he's heartbroken. And
He's listening.
really-
I think he's listening.
Oh yeah, he's listening
on
live.
live. So
Everything. I've been texting him all day, and shout out to him. He's heartbroken. He wanted to be here, or he would have been here, but I think he's got a good excuse.
Well,
He's
so
got a good excuse.
it's been harder on him than his wife then.
yeah,
Exactly.
you might not
I
get
don't
away
know
with
how
that.
long
You
that
might
labor
not
was.
get away with that. He better turn the stream off
It
from
was,
that.
it was a multiple day labor.
Yeah, but congrats to him, his boy Jack Waldron. Yeah, congrats.
All right, David, how was your run?
I think it was P19 or P17. I don't remember. For some reason, it's 5 top 10. I went the last 20 to 30 laps unable to serve a black flag because of just getting caught up in so many different wrecks. I did get it served at the end and just finished behind everybody, and still just like 17. This race was an absolute shit show. There was one guy that literally cost the first 5 cautions. He took Brad out twice. He took me out once. He took Justin out at least once. And he did finally get himself disqualified. This is the kind of stuff that this kind of guy needs to go or needs to get educated, since that's what the process system is supposed to be for. All right, the safety rating's not going to stop him from doing this. He was driving like an idiot the whole time, and we did put in a protest on it for blocking, and he's still racing, so he just got a warning. And I mean, there's a difference between the occasional mess up and somebody who just needs to have a Jim France-like person in the real world pull him aside and say, "Hey, you got to quit stinking up the show." So it was awful. So as long as we can't police it ourselves and iRacing won't police it, NIS is going to continue to be a shit show.
Brad, P22.
Yeah, I mean, same split with David. Not even really sure where to begin with this one. Wrecked twice by the same guy. Caused 4 yellows overall. I mean, they made 19 cautions at Gateway. 19
Sounds like
cautions.
it's a little bit under what Martinsville gets, but it sounds
In a
bad.
120 lap race, took over 2 hours to finish.
Son of a-
I entered 3 laps down, driving a half-fixed car, trying to get it, avoid an incident driving 16X. I spent about half the race driving 16X, just trying to avoid getting another incident. So again, it's the same story, different week. It's getting older.
Okay, and other official racing, with week 13 coming up, I wanted to get my SR up so I don't lose a license in Formula. So I ran the Formula V P7, started dead last, 12 out of 12. Did the race to get SR, ended with 0 incident points, and finished P7 due to attrition. Next race, P7, started dead last, 0 incident points, just like before. Then started dead last again, no incident points, finished P2. The leaders piled up coming to the checker, and I took advantage from 6th to 2nd. Then I started 10th out of 12, raced everybody, and got up to P5, still no incident. Then started 10th out of 12, somehow finished P3, no incident. So I was successful in my SR journey. Moving on to Mazda Cup, where I also was doing an SR journey. Qualified 12th, finished 8th with 0 incident. Started 12th, finished 9th, again, no incident. Started dead last, 12th, finished 12th. Went wide 1, had a 1 incident in the race. Then I started dead last, made it up to 5th, still got a 1X, avoiding a wreck, and still got to the SR goal, mission accomplished. Moving on to Gen 4, top split, Kansas, car 23 out of 25. 2 cautions, I missed it, kept the car clean. I finished P11, pretty fun track to run the top. The set is just way too tight, though, to be any fun. You gotta have a looser set in Gen 4. Look, Gen 4 is being ruined by the tight set. It's a fixed setup. You can't run anything else, and iRacing has got it so freaking tight, it's just not fun. You gotta get something looser. Moving on to Ringmeister with the GT3s. I qualified 2nd with chasing the leader. He hit the brakes extremely, and I went to avoid him and had to hit the wall, DNF. Then, next race, started second, fought the leader real hard. I finally got by under heavy pressure and went on to win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, career win number 116. Man, I am so proud to win in the GT3 Ferrari at the Nordschleife Green Hell. Next race, started P2, finished P2. The leader was fast. He drove away from me easily. He was easily 5 seconds a lap faster than me. Now think about that. 5 seconds a lap faster. I just won my last race. This guy doesn't belong in my split. What is he doing in my split?
How many splits did you do?
Quite a bit, actually. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Smurfing.
Yeah, he's a Smurf or something. So anyway, next race, started third, finished third, got as high as second, actually spun it myself at one point, was still able to finish third. IMSA, Brad, P8, Indy.
Yeah, Indy GT3 ran this Thursday morning before I left to go to the airport. I had a rather uneventful race until after pit stops. I think I had decent pace, was running in the top 5. So was running P5 after pit stops, and actually running down P4. Going into turn 1, we had a lap car, an overshot turn 1 at Indy. Decides he needs to try to make the corner. Well, the guy that's running P6 decides to send it in beside us. So now we're 3 wide in that corner. His excuse is, oh, I didn't know you were 3 wide. Well, when you were behind me and 2 other cars in front of me, how you could not see that we're 3 wide. I just don't get it. I end up getting crowded by the lapper and get spun out. The guy that sends it, what happens to him? Boom, just goes on and drives. So go back to P9, got 1 spot back. Just really frustrated.
Is that? I've always wondered when you're saying I didn't realize you were 3 wide and you've created that thing. Is that they're covering their ass type thing where like, oh, if it gets protested, that's on the audio. At least I have it there to say, hey, I didn't even know.
They won't protest something like that anyway.
But
they
I'm
don't
just
protest
saying,
bad race crashes.
But I'm just saying, like, you know,
I don't know.
or just dumb.
I went back and I watched from his vantage point. Yes, when we were in the corner, you couldn't see the guy on my inside. But coming to the corner, you could clearly see there were 3 cars in front of you. And when you hit the corner and there's not a car somewhere else, the car's got to be somewhere.
He probably doesn't have a spotter on either.
Maybe single on. Probably not on an ultra line.
All right, grassroots racing, Indy sprint race, Brad, P5.
Yeah, P5. So just didn't have the pace in the top 4. Tried to play the uppercut and hoping to match. We gained a little bit of track position. Then I blew the freaking entry into right on it. That's a tough entry to try to be quick. Messed that up, lost too much time. I've said before, grassroots racing, I really enjoy it. I really think it's helping my official pace. Official, so shout out to those guys, really having a good time.
Okay, and then I ran an AI race, Nashville Super Speedway in the Dallara 18 IndyCar. I turned on the adaptive AI on the highest setting. I started mid-pack and got to the lead by lap 6. I'm calling BS on the adaptive AI. It's not strong enough, or I don't know, it doesn't work at that track, or I don't know how to set it up or something. But for me to get to the lead in 6 laps when it's set on the highest setting, there's something wrong.
Right.
Next, I ran Pickup Cup, finished P7. In the race, an old friend from the past, Roderick Norman, was in there, and I saw professional Coke driver Dylan Alt, and he finished P9. Then I ran official SK Modified at Southern National, finished P10. And that's it. Let's go to final thoughts. David Hall.
Kudos to George for putting on an awesome first year event. I can't wait to see how much it grows next year. Kudos to the Podfather for completing his 500th episode. All right, we've all been, come in later or sooner, but this guy's been here for every single one of them. So, just congratulations to both of y'all for a huge milestone.
All right, thank you. John Curley, final thoughts.
Yeah, I thought of that this morning when we were talking about 500. It's like, Mike Ellis has been here from day one. My gosh, 500 times.
And never met one of us up until this time.
I missed Thanksgiving.
He's missed probably about 5
episodes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so 5 out of 500, I mean, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, man.
I've been here from the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm with David. You know, the Sim Gaming Expo, great. Can't wait till next year, and can't wait to get some of this new equipment delivered to my house.
Right, Greg Hector's final thought.
I'm glad that it's somewhere that was close for us, me and my father, to drive down to come enjoy this event. Like, this blew my mind as soon as I walked through the doors here. What was here, you know, all the videos I've seen of stuff that's gone on in Europe, I couldn't imagine, you know, I get to hold some of these wheels I'll probably never own in my life, or do any of these things I'll never even get a chance to do or to use. But we've talked about it on the episode. It's like, I've got a better understanding of what if I'm going to upgrade down the road. I know where my path is. Things I do want, things I don't want, and I'll never get that if I'm just looking online trying to order it or watching a video or something like that. So, like, being here, you get to try out stuff, and develop an opinion on it. Yeah, it's not sitting at the right angle, or the monitor's not the right stuff for you, but at least you get a better, a quick, I don't like that, and that's that. But no, I'm really enjoying being down here, and hopefully my job tomorrow is to get my dad in something, because he just keeps walking around, and we got to get him. He hasn't gotten in it. He's been talking a lot with the PC building guys. He loves that part of it. But he said he's like, I think I'm going to get in something tomorrow. I'm like, that's my job tomorrow, is to get him in something.
First thing in the morning.
Good, yeah.
All right, Brad Rinn.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of follow up, again, shout out to George. I mean, I think this came together better, I think, than anybody probably thought. Blew my mind, what to expect, much better. Mike, you touched on it earlier. Sim racing is somewhat solo all the time. It's me in the ring. That's it. The guys are there, we're chatting, Discord, stuff like that, but it's kind of a solo adventure. Being able to gather with you guys, meet you, we've had dinner, we've talked, we got to dinner tonight, we got a whole other day of this, and it's great. The other aspect is listeners. I'm humbled that there's people that listen to us ramble about this game.
Yeah.
They attentively listen.
They do, and it's I'm humbled. Okay, we're just guys that like sim racing. We like iRacing. We're passionate about this. We don't do this for money. That's each person here paid to come here. We all forked in to rent the booth. That's the stuff that we did because, one, we just enjoy this.
Yeah.
But to be able to see people come up and go, hey, I listened to the show. I like what you do. We've been explaining to people what we do, and they're like, I'm going to listen to you now.
Yeah.
We gained a bunch of new listeners.
Yes, we did.
We had some presenters come in who want to come on the show, and they were like, "How much do y'all need from us to come on the show and promote our product?" And
It's like asking us how much it would cost.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is not a business."
No, this is a passion. This is passion, and that's what I love about this. Well, it's funny that you said about the people coming up and feeling. I told David this here, earlier, that me and him have been competing on a rig over there for times because I set a fast time, then he set a fast time. And then I went up, and the guy keeps recognizing us when we walk through the booths. He's like talking to me every time during the day here. And he goes, he was talking about, you're going to come and set another fast time. And then there was people standing around it, and then they're looking at me like, is this guy famous or something? I'm like, I felt kind of weird and find awkward, but I'm like, this is kind of cool because it's like, someone here's talking to me and it's like, oh, maybe I should know this guy. But it was kind of just humbling, and just, I just like seeing people enjoy themselves. Like the kids that are here, that's too cool too.
Okay, Justin Pearson, final thought.
Yeah, I mean, you got to thank George. You got to thank every one of you guys for putting this together and helping out. I'm just a racer behind the scenes. You guys do a lot more work than me, so kudos. And I'm just thankful there's an event that everybody, or that people show up that like the same thing I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to have a face-to-face conversation with this hobby.
Right.
It's difficult, and it puts a totally different element on it when you can see your face than another person's face. So.
Or your height.
Yeah, or the height.
Or lack thereof.
Those two
Look, I mean, 4 of us have no hair. So
I have the razor.
I'm telling you, we need to do
You ain't raising anybody here, I can tell you that. These two aren't going to get the razor. They'll fight their way out.
All right, awesome.
Okay, my final thoughts. Wow, 500. I can't believe it. I always thought it would end, but I didn't know when. And I guess I still don't know when. But it's come a long ways. You know, to meet in person at this moment, it's like kismet. So, pretty cool. Proud. And,
Wow. Yeah.
Way to go, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, thank you for keeping it up.
Yeah.
and with that, we'll see you on the track later.
You're our Sergeant Hulka, the big toe.
Woo! That's some raw emotion right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say.
Right.
Okay, title ideas.